So the question is, how does a deep understanding of diversity make you a more effective global citizen? Well, I think that we are sometimes oblivious to global issues, whether that's from lack of knowledge, not watching the news or not reading the newspapers. I know me as a college student, I just never really fit in time to do things like that. And I think with more knowledge, we can get a better understanding of what's happening around us. Knowing culture is everything. I'm learning this more and more and more in my international courses, regardless of if you're conducting business negotiations or just simply touring a country. Knowing a few details about the culture is so vital. I'm a person that really likes to look at different definitions and synonyms for words, so of course, I look up the word effective just to get a better understanding, and I found active and current. In order to be active or current in anything, an individual must be aware of the latest news and the updates about the particular subject matter. When I think of the word active, I typically think of sports, probably because I was an athlete all the way through high school. And for me, active always means being in motion and not staying in one place and always pushing to get to the next level. And this really can be said for the process of discovering the world. There should be a desire to learn more. We really shouldn't be content with just knowing, the headlines of Wall Street Journal, which for me, I know I do all the time. I think, oh, well, I know that this happened today, so that's all. I don't need to really read the article about it. But instead of doing that, we really should want to research the subject matter more so that we can understand why exactly, certain rebellions take place, or why there's a leader or a politician in the news all the time. One of my history teachers back in middle school was the first person to tell me that history is a series of events that, repeats itself. And if this is true, then I think that we as people and as countries really can learn from the past so that we do not repeat certain situations. This means that we need to know more about the past and also the present, because many things that are happening now are affecting other parts of the world, although we may not be aware of it. Even the smallest act of sending money and food overseas has a great impact on living conditions of others throughout the world. And as citizens, we are supposed to be lending a helping hand to others, and now with opportunities such as Semester at Sea, we can really make that a more global effort rather than just local. Citizens really should be able to communicate and share their opinions about various matters and different ideas to possibly implement. And thanks to capabilities such as the internet and aerospace industry, this is really made possible. I think that visiting these cultures for me will give me a better understanding of the viewpoints of my fellow global citizens in countries such as Turkey and Italy and Croatia. Obviously, because these, they're similar to America in some ways, but they're obviously very different in other ways to American culture. And knowing how they see the rest of the world and how they view, even us, can really be beneficial for me as well as others. We really need to know what other people in this world need in order to help them. A surgeon doesn't go in and just decide to cut a patient open without really carefully examining the symptoms and diagnosing the problem and figuring out what's happening. And really the same really should go for us. How can we efficiently help someone without really knowing what they need, knowing what they're struggling with? We really need to realize that there are differences, and then we need to figure out how to deal with those differences so that we all are, a cohesive group. Looking at it the other way, we can take the same approach where things that we as Americans struggle with, other cultures can help us with. We may not be struggling with, money or trying to find clean drinking water, but, things as putting greater emphasis on family or friends, or even placing a little less stress on our workload, that really can just, I think help create more of a love for life, and then I think that those other cultures really can help us with that. I don't think that I'm going to completely change the world the minute I step off the MV Explorer, but I do think that I will be more motivated to keep up with world news and be more responsive if I hear about a chance to possibly help someone else who's like halfway across the world, make their life a little bit easier. And this can be done, by donating a book or a jacket or shoes or, just a little bit of money. I'll just have more of a drive for it now. With the experience, I'll be able to put a face to the name, basically. If I hear something about something that's happening in Bulgaria, be able to say, wow, well, I was there, I talked to these people, this is actually what they're feeling, this is actually what they're going through, maybe I really do want to help with that cause. And I think that would just make the process just 100 times easier and 100 times more meaningful for me. After this, I really think that I'll be able to realize that there are different parts of the world that have different struggles, and that also we have struggles too. And without the cooperation from both sides, or really all of us, then we're really not going to be able to survive in this world.